All right, much to celebrate with LaToya Jackson. We'll get to that, but of course the somber stuff too. Almost 3 years since Michael Jackson passed away, and LaToya has written a heartfelt memoir to shed some light on what she thinks happened to her brother. LaToya is here. The first lines of your book, you say, "I never believed I would survive to write a second book." What prompts you to say that?
Well, because I went through such an abusive relationship with my marriage, with my slash husband manager. And I never thought that I would survive. I never thought that I would get out of this relationship alive because it was such an abusive relationship. The things that went on that the world had no clue that was going on. And he promised me if I tried to escape or get away or didn't do what he wanted or asked me to do, that he would kill me. And he was very adamant about it. I knew that that's exactly what he would do. So I figured if I can escape this and get away, then other people can do it too, because you're in a situation where you feel that you cannot get away from that. And I don't know what it is, but I think they get to your self-esteem, your self-worth, and you feel like you're meaningless. They control your entire being. I couldn't go any place. I couldn't visit people. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't talk on the phone. He controlled everything I did. But you guys, no one ever knew that, because during that time, I would be on television and smiling and everything was just fine. And the minute I got off, it's back into the room, close the door, back to the hotel.
You detail a lot of that in the book.
It's all in the book, starting over.
Right.
Everything is right here. It's very interesting because a lot of women are in the same situation that I was in. And I was able to get out of that and start all over again because I felt that I would never be able to do that.
And it's not entirely analogous, but other controversies surrounding you. What you say, your brother was murdered. And a lot of, when you came out saying that, a lot of people thought, oh my gosh, she's out of her mind.
Why would she say that?
Why would she say that?
Yes. But then at the end of the day, that's basically what took place and what happened. And I knew that because Michael told me that he would be, and that people were after him, which of course I explained to you guys once before. But that's just a small part of this book. This book is basically about abuse, and that's what I speak on. Women trying to go to shelters and getting help and moving out of that rim of feeling like you have to be in alignment with what this abusive person is doing with you.
And were you able to accomplish that, to be honest, just by yourself, or did somebody or some event make you think, oh my gosh, I've got to change things?
No, because I wasn't allowed to watch television. It was very difficult for me because I couldn't read books. I couldn't watch television. He would lock me in closets and I would have to sit there. And even in the New York home, he would make me sit by the window but not look out the window. And I would sit there for hours. This is how much control and discipline they have over you. And you feel like I have to do this. And this is what goes on in a lot of households today. Did I get help? Eventually, I kept praying to God and I said, please, 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 I need help. I need help. Can you please help me? And eventually, I finally got a Bible, which I wasn't allowed to get. And one of the workers snuck a Bible to me. And once I got that Bible, I would take a shower with that Bible in my hand. I would not let it go. And eventually, when he got into the shower, I picked up the phone, which I wasn't allowed to use, and I called my phone book. I looked, and the first Jackson I saw, I called the number. And my brother answered. He says, oh my God, you're so lucky that you got me because I never answer. And the minute he heard my voice, he put my mother and father on the phone. And my mother and father said, get over there, go to New York and get her right now. And that's what he did. He got on the plane and he came and got me.
So you were in effect rescued.
Yeah.
And
I was. He came with my cousin and they looked at the elevators and made sure had one open. We jumped in the elevator, got right into the car, got right on the plane, and I went back home.
And where's your first husband now?
He's deceased. He's deceased. And I wish he was here because I would love to know that he would feel that this is something that is not supposed to happen, not supposed to take place. And what I did was when this happened, I want to know, why are people so evil, so mean, so malicious, have to be so controlling? What went wrong in his childhood to make him do the things that he did to me when I was strict Jehovah's Witness, didn't know anything about the world, and he totally took advantage of that factor that, gosh, she's so naive. She has no clue what's really going on here. So my point to you is that when someone does that to you, you want to know what makes their mind tick that way. And that's when I became very analytical when I left him. And I wanted to know about his childhood, everything about him. And then I found out he was born in a brothel, his uncle told me, and he tap danced on top of the piano. And this is the life that he was used to. So that, again, not liking women and hating them and taking things out on them. This is what a lot of people do. I'm not saying that everybody's household is that way, but a lot of women that are being abused are going through things of this nature.
I mean, you make so many valid points about it. You know, people want to talk to you about that. They want to talk to you about your life as a sister and now your life as an aunt. We've seen Michael's kids more than we've ever seen just the last year or so. What do you think about that?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's great because Michael was such a big personality that he knew that wherever he went, there were cameras and crowds. So if he revealed his kid's face when they were with him, the world would know who they were. So he kept them sheltered where no one would know, but they would go out normally when they weren't with him. But now my mother decided to just unleash everything and say, you guys, you can have the freedom that you want. And they love it. And they're great kids and they love it.
That's nice to hear. LaToya's book is called Starting Over. It is in stores now. We do have a birthday cake for you, LaToya. They're pushing us along. Oh, here it comes.
There you go.
The first person you can give a birthday cake here that's actually happening.
How about that?
There you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Happy
guys.
birthday to you.
It's so kind.
There you go.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'll make my
Here we go.
There you go. We hope it comes true.
We do. Very nice to see you, LaToya. Be well.
New book out here and some music actually with a similar title called Starting Over.
Starting
and this
Over.
book has generated a lot of attention.
Yes.
You talk about life with your brother Michael Jackson.
Yes.
And you also talk about what the phrase is they're telling us is quote unquote the reason behind his death.
Yes.
What do you think that is?
It was pure murder. I don't care what anyone says. This was pure murder. This was a controversy. This was all manipulated to do this. And Michael knew that. And he mentioned it over and over and over again to me, told me who was going to do it, why they were going to do it, the reason for doing it.
What was the motive?
The motive was to get his publishing. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but Michael had one of the biggest catalogs in the world.
Beatles songs and several others.
Every artist basically out there. He owned all the elevator music you hear. That's his. So all this generates a lot of money every year. It's over billions of dollars. And so hear this to them, this little meek little kid. We're not going to let him have this. We're going to take this away from him. So he hated it, but he loved it. He hated the fact that he had the catalog and they were going to murder him for it. So he said, I don't want it. It's not worth it. And then the other part of him would say, no, but it's mine. I bought it outright and I'm keeping it growing. This is for my children. They can't do this to
Did
me.
he tell you though that he feared for his life?
Oh, yeah.
He opened up to
Absolutely.
you about.
When he first told me, though, I was very hesitant about believing him. I thought he was being a bit paranoid about it. But
What changed your mind?
well, the more he talked about it, the more passionate he was about it. He started changing. He was very jovial and laughing and loved the rights and hoping all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're going to kill me. He was really afraid to go out.
Okay.
Well, okay. Go on.
I was just saying, I'll never forget the afternoon. As you recall, Farrah Fawcett had died earlier that morning.
Yeah.
And then at around 2 p.m, a phone call that Michael was at UCLA Medical Center and that subsequently about an hour later he died. If I had had the kind of conversations that you had had, and then my relative or someone who confided in me died, the very first thing I would do is go right to the police. Did you do that? Have you done
That's
that?
exactly what I did. And guess what they said? No, we're going to look this direction. We're going to focus on Dr. Murray. I said, but you need to focus on other people as well. No, we're going to stay focused on Dr. Murray.
So you contend that he may be the one that what you believe.
Dr. Murray was the fall guy. Bottom line, that's what he was. And they knew this. These people entered into his life when he did not want them there. He had gotten rid of these people. Michael had fired John Branca. He didn't want him around. Fired him. Then Michael hired a private investigator to find out. Then he found out John Branca had smuggled $150,000 offshore of his money, $150 million offshore of his money. And he just started investigating.
John Branca is a very prominent attorney.
Right.
And if you mention a name like John Branca and other names, I imagine, I mean,
This is what Michael told me. So
does it make you scared for you? Because these are big.
this is my brother. He's no longer here. I have to fight for what's right. I have to fight for what's right for him and for his children. And that's what I'm doing. It's
So
for a person.
if you come on our air here and in your book and you say, which I think you're saying, you tell me, John Branca and others, in effect, killed my brother.
I'm not blatantly say they killed him. This was a conspiracy to do this to him. And this is what Michael has said to me. This is what he's told
Is
me
there anything
and my
you
mother
could
as
have
well.
done, looking back, to have stepped in or gotten other family members involved?
Well, my mother knew about it, of course, and I think one other sibling knew as well. You could have intervened a lot sooner. You must understand, these people, according to him, they came into his life, and according to his staff that worked around him, they came into his life probably a week, some of them, before he passed. And they were inquiring about the catalog. Mind you, Michael had told me about the catalog years ago, how they were after him for it. So it's very interesting. And you have to keep this in mind too. When my brother passed, actually it was really early in the morning. And of course, everything was reported later and they hid all the evidence as much as they possibly could. But when he passed, do you know the people that were working with him went in there and fired every single staff that worked with Michael and made them sign a confidentiality contract. You can't tell anything, a disclosure. That's something you don't do. The first thing you do is say, what exactly happened? What took place here? No, they didn't do that. They got rid of everybody.
So someone asked, well, why wasn't the family around to be as a part of his life to prevent those people from coming in? Some people might ask that. Wonder why.
People do ask that. And this is how people control you. This is what starting over is about. People coming into your life because of your personality, controlling you, controlling your funds, controlling what you do. And that's what they did. Michael, when you would try to call, they wouldn't let phone calls come through. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
My father, at one point, he says, forget it. I'm going to drive right through the gate if you don't open it. And he did it actually. He didn't care. This was his son. He was trying to protect him and save him. He was very afraid. He was afraid of his life. He was afraid for everything. And his kids, they go on to talk about certain things too.
You're a public person. You're not a private person. And you have put this in print. I'm surprised, quite candidly, it hasn't gotten more attention.
Well, this book, if you read this book is 80% about starting over, meaning my life and the whole bit and the abuse that I went through with my manager locked in closets and not able to watch television, controlling what I say and do. It's about maybe 10 or 15% is about the end of Michael, because that was my life.
Yeah.
I started writing this in 2008, February, and then stopped and kept going. And so it ended. He had to pass, unfortunately. So I just put the little.
What do you hope happens now?
I want justice.
And justice would be what?
I want justice for all of those who are responsible for my brother's death.
And they are.
And those people are the ones that they know who they are. It wasn't just Dr. Murray. And I'm telling them to look to the right and left, but they choose to look. And it's not fair. It's totally unfair. And they know that.
LaToya Jackson's new book is called Starting Over. There's music accompanying the book, as well as a single out with a similar title, same title. Very nice to see you.
You've been compelling and candid. Thank you so much, LaToya.
The book is in bookstores right now. Thank you.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.